So it's a huge week for crypto this week, as not only do we have the US elections, but we're also entering into what has historically been the most bullish phase of the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. So in this video, I'll explain what that is, how Bitcoin has behaved in previous US elections, and also why soon might be the best time to be getting into altcoins this cycle. So let's get into it. So starting off then with the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. Now, most of you may know what this is, some of you may not, but before we get into it, a quick shout out and recognition to Bob Lucas. So if you're not aware of what the 4-year cycle is, go and check out his channel. He's been talking about this since the last cycle, goes over it in a lot of detail, and very good watch indeed. So go check him out. In the meantime, though, if you do enjoy our content, please do like and subscribe to our channel. Helps us grow, and we really do appreciate it. But let's get into the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. So what this generally is Bitcoin moves in these, has the same behavior, and it replays over a 4-year cycle, which is generally 1 year of consolidation after the previous bear market, 2 years of bull market, followed by 1 year of brutal bear market, and then the new cycle starts again, as I said at the beginning, consolidation from the previous bear market. So we've got a chart here from Bitstamp, which shows us all of Bitcoin's history going all the way back to August 2011. And you can see the patterns already with the numbers on the screen. You can see that from top to top on each cycle is roughly 47 months, and the bottom of each cycle to the bottom of the next is around 47 months as well, with the exception of the first cycle back here. So we bottomed in October 2011, and it was only 39 months until we bottomed in the next cycle in January 2015. But you can see all of the tops and bottoms occur at roughly the same time of year. So the top of the November 2013, the top of the 2013 cycle was in November. The top of the 2017 cycle was in December. The top of the last cycle in 2021 was in November. And then the bottoms, we bottomed in the first cycle at 2011 in October. The next cycle, 2015, was in January. The one after that, 2018, was in December. And then the last cycle we bottomed in November of 2022. So you can see lots of patterns already emerging. And the thing that I want to bring your attention to most is the fact that, as I said at the beginning of the video, we are now entering into what has historically been the most bullish phase of that Bitcoin 4-year cycle, which is the third year of the cycle. So you can see with each of these, so as I say, we started around November, December 2011. First year, we had some accumulation, then we had 2 years of bull market, followed by 1 year of brutal bear market, where we bottomed out in January 2015, 1 year of consolidation, 2 years of bull market. You can see that first year coming in at November 2016, and then you enter into the third year of that bull market, starting from November 2016 and topping out in December 2017. Then in the next cycle, in the 17-18 cycle, again, topped out in December 2017, bottomed in December 2018, and then you've got that 2 years of bullish price action. So year one taking us up until November 2020, and then the third year from November 2020 up until October 2021 was the third year, the most bullish phase. And then we are now entering into year 3 of this current cycle, which is of course November of 2024. So as history says, now of course this isn't a guarantee. Previous performance doesn't guarantee future results, but you can see the percentages that we've made in previous bull cycles. So back in the 16-17 cycle, in that third year, we went up 2,500%. In the last cycle of 2020-2021, from November 2020 up until October 2021, we went up 400%. So diminishing returns, maybe we only go up another couple of percent, maybe we only go up 100%, 200%, but even from here, that's 120, maybe 180k BTC. So we're looking at, if we continue to follow the cycles to plan, we're looking at a rough top of the bull cycle to come in around October of next year, 2025, and then the next bottom of the next bear market is probably going to be in around October 2026. Whether we'll follow that plan or not, we'll just have to wait and see. But at the moment, That is what history and the charts are telling us. And as I say, we are now entering into that third year most bullish phase of the market. So the other thing we have to keep in mind is as well that the Bitcoin 4-year cycle runs alongside the election cycle as well. So let's jump onto another chart and see how Bitcoin has performed in previous election years. So Bitcoin has seen 2 major elections in its lifetime, technically 3, one in 2012, but Bitcoin was literally worth less than about $100 at the time. So not too much point taking a look at that. But then you've got the 2016 and 2020 election as well. And if we take a look at those two, there's a very interesting pattern that could continue to play out into this election. And if it does, it's going to play into that 4-year Bitcoin cycle narrative as well. So let's get into the previous election. So the first one being back in 2016. Let's go down to the weekly chart, and we can see, if we zoom in, that the bottom of that weekly candle, as you can see here, which was back in the 7th week beginning the 7th of November 2016, because the election day was the 8th of November that year. You can see we put in a low on this weekly candle wick at $687, and it has never been retested since. If we go down to the daily time frame and take a look at how the week played out, zoom in here, we can see, as I say, the election happened on the 8th, rallied, put in a high up here around $744, and then we actually came down below that wick or below the lows that we put in on the Tuesday of the election day, and then we put in this wick on the weekly candle here at $687 on the Sunday. So rallied on the election day, dumped, bottomed out on the Sunday, and then never looked back since, putting that low at $687, and that remains untested to this day. If we then take a look at the 2020 election day, so if we take a look on the weekly first, again, we've got this wick down at $13,200, and that has never been retested since. As we well know, that Bitcoin bottomed out in the last bear market at $15,000. So this level remains untested. Again, if we then take a look at what happened during that week, and zoom in here, where is it? There we go. Zoom in. So the election happened on the 3rd. The week started on Monday the 2nd. We actually never retested the low that we put in the day before the election. So 2016, we came and took out the lows of election day and put in the wick on the Sunday at the very end of the week. 2020, we actually bottomed the day before of the election and then never came back to retest it. So where are we going to go this week? As you can see, we've already put in a low so far this week down at 68.2k. So the question is, are we going to bottom out today like the day before the election as we did in 2020, or are we going to put in a lower low this week as the week goes on, maybe bottom out again on Sunday like we did back in 2016? Once that, we're going to have a deep dive into price action currently, and also why very soon might be the best time to be jumping into altcoins. Now, if you are heavily in altcoins, I have a bit of good news and a bit of bad news. Obviously, altcoins have been leading heavily against BTC over the last few months, and there's a good chance that whilst that may be coming to an end soon, it might not be quite yet. There may still be some pain to come. So at the moment, we're on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and obviously if you've not seen this before, the higher the dominance is, the stronger Bitcoin is, and the lower it goes, then it means that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. And generally you want to be heavily in Bitcoin when Bitcoin dominance is low, and then start to rotate from Bitcoin into altcoins when Bitcoin dominance starts going high. And you can see that it's been on an absolute tear since the bottom of the bear market in November 2022. It has barely looked back, hardly had any pullbacks, and that is why altcoins are suffering so badly. However, we are coming to a point whereby it may be time to start rotating from Bitcoin into altcoins. Now, if we take a look at what has happened previously, if we take a look at the previous collapses in Bitcoin dominance, so when altcoins have outperformed Bitcoin, you can see that in 2017, it really kicked off around March and April of that year. If we then take a look at the Bitcoin USD chart, you can see that that occurred when the previous all-time highs were broken. So you can see here in March of 2017 was when we first poked above the all-time highs, and then we broke it with a decent move and a monthly candle close above it in April 2017. So back to the Bitcoin dominance chart, as I say, that is when the Bitcoin dominance chart started to break down once we'd broken previous all-time highs. Same thing happened here in 2020. So you can see that Bitcoin dominance topped out in the December of 2020, January of 2021. If we go back to our Bitcoin chart, we can see that that previous all-time high of 20k tested in November, but fully broke in December of 2020. And back to that Bitcoin dominance chart, December of 2020 was when we put in this final monthly candle here. We had another little spike in January, and then we started breaking down and we had a massive alt season. So if Bitcoin is going to break all-time highs again soon, whether it's before the end of this year or going into next year, is that going to be the signal for one last push to the upside on the Bitcoin dominance chart, one final capitulation on altcoins before we finally start turning the corner and Bitcoin dominance starts breaking down and the alt BTC pairs start rallying? In terms of the Bitcoin dominance chart itself, we had a big resistance here on the monthly chart. Now, of course, this is just an index, not an actual price chart, so take technical analysis with a pinch of salt. However, you can see that this has been a big level on the charts for a long time, this 57% level. We burst through it with a very strong monthly candle last month. As you can see, we didn't even have an upside wick. And now it looks like there's a clear path to go from here all the way up to the next big level, which is around 64, 65%. And that may well be the top. If we break Bitcoin all-time highs, head to 80, 85, 90k, hit this Bitcoin dominance level, and then the money starts rotating from Bitcoin into altcoins. The other chart to keep an eye on is the Ethereum BTC chart, which, as you can see, has lost a major level of support here at 0.04. You can see this was a big level of previous support and resistance. We broke that again. Very bearish monthly candle, no downside wick at all, and this may well break all the way down to 0.027. That's the next big level I can see on my chart. Other people might have different levels, but that looks like a clear level to me, and that could be the result of a Bitcoin all-time high breakout. You can see in terms of percentages, it's actually only about a 20%, 25% drop, which wouldn't actually be that crazy considering the downtrend that we've been in since September 2022. And that's really when things start to turn, when people have been holding on all this time, waiting for a turn, and then they finally capitulate. They say, right, I'm jumping into BTC, Bitcoin's going to 250k, get rid of these altcoins, I'm going to move into Bitcoin, and that's when things start to turn, when that capitulation happens. One final chart as well to look at for the alt BTC chart. This is the total 3 Bitcoin chart, so everything against Bitcoin essentially. And we've got this huge level of previous support that you can see around here. The value doesn't matter. Just take a look at where it is on the chart. You can see we bounced off this level, held it for a long time, and then last month, very bearish candle straight through it on the monthly chart. And even on the weekly chart, you can see it was a huge level of support. We actually broke it a couple of weeks ago on the week beginning the 14th, came up for a bearish retest, and we had a very bearish week last week as well. So again, keep an eye on this. If things do actually turn a little bit sooner rather than later, keep an eye on a monthly and weekly candle close back above this level. That would definitely signify strength. The same with Ethereum BTC. If it can manage to reclaim 0.04 and the Bitcoin dominance chart starts to turn, that's when it's going to be a good time to be getting into altcoins or starting to rotate those Bitcoin profits into altcoins. Finally then, let's take a look at the current Bitcoin price action and see where we may put in a low for this week. Just before we get onto that though, if you want to join a crypto community, either talking about investing, trading, sharing your experiences, learning skills, all that sort of good stuff, check out our website, learningcrypto.co.uk. Jump into our Discord. We've got a free Discord and we've got paid as well. We've got premium and we've got the Traders Lounge. As I say, if you want to learn how to trade, this is some of the rooms you get access to on the Traders Lounge. So you've got swing trades in here. I've actually been taking advantage of the altcoin weakness recently. These are the trades I'm currently in: AVAX short and an injective short. You can see they're running in profit on the screen at the moment. We've also got a day trading section as well, and then if we scroll up, we've got the trade success. You can see lots of successful trades coming in, not only from analysts but also our community members as well. We have live streams, chat rooms, all that sort of good stuff. So come check us out, as I say, learningcrypto.co.uk. We've got free Discord to come in and chat. If you then want the upgraded stuff to the live streams and the chats, £10 a month for premium and then £20 a month for Traders Lounge. But there's lots of offers on. You save a lot on the annual, and you can also get 50% off the first 3 months if you use the code INTRO as well. But enough of that, let's get back into the charts. So taking a look at current price action, then let's try and see whereabouts we may well find a bottom for the week. And if history repeats, then the low of this week should be the final low, and we shouldn't revisit it ever again. But as I said before, previous results do not guarantee future outcomes. So let's get into it on the weekly time frame. You can see we started to have a really bullish week last week and it rejected. We came within an inch of all-time highs, come back down, and we actually managed to close back below 71.3k, which was the previous highest weekly candle close of the cycle so far. So yeah, not a great looking weekly candle. We have sort of broken out of this bearish trend line that you can see from the two highest swing highs from the 11th of March and the week beginning 3rd of June. We had a slight close over it, and you could argue that we're now retesting it as support, although not that convincing. If we go down to the daily time frame, that's when it starts to look interesting. We can be a little bit clearer on levels. So we've got this level of support here about 68.5k. You can see it was the top here in the 13th of June, resistance 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th of July. It was also the highest daily candle close we'd had since the 11th of June, until we finally got back above it here on the 20th of October. But then we deviated it, come back down, had that drop, retest the moving average 21 down to 65k, and now we are back above it. However, we are now retesting it as support and currently trading slightly below it. However, we do also have a bit of added confidence in the fact that we have the daily moving average 21. We also have a couple of daily fair value gaps as well, and not only that, but we are still trending above the RSI 50 with a green trend bar on the LC trend and momentum indicator as well. This trend and momentum indicator, by the way, comes with the Learning Crypto Traders Lounge as well. So it's an RSI indicator along with momentum movement averages as well. So really handy tool, shows you divergences on the RSI as well without you having to work it yourself. So very handy little trading tool. But as I say, if we were to lose this daily movement average 21 and this daily level of 68.5k, then realistically we're probably heading towards about 65k, which for me, between 65 and 64k is sort of like the last stand. I think if we lose 64k, then we are starting to look very bearish indeed, because we've got a really nice trend of higher highs and higher lows at the moment. And if we were to start trading below 65, 64k, I wouldn't mind a wick down to 64k and then close back above 65k. But 65k is the most recent local low. And if we start trading below that, then we're starting to make lower lows and lower highs, which is not what you want to see. So there is a chance that potentially today is the low, as we talked about back in 2016. That was, 2020. The low was put in the day before the election, and then we rallied. We'll have to see whether that is the case this week. But as I say, below 65k doesn't look good for me at all. So hopefully we can hold this level of support here at 68.5k. We have a bullish outcome, and then we can start attacking that all-time highs. And then if Bitcoin does break all-time highs, as I just showed you, the Bitcoin dominance should hopefully top out, and then we'll see that rotation from Bitcoin into altcoins. So fingers crossed. Drop in the comments below what you think is going to happen. How do you think the election is going to impact things? And do you think that Bitcoin dominance is close to a top, or do you think it's just going to keep going and altcoins are going to continue to suffer? Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.